Welcome to another episode. Today I'll be talking about my own personal routine as of now and how I've changed it and how my goals have actually changed for 2021. So I'll be discussing in length, how I switched up some things and how my goals have, switched up this year. There's a couple things that I want to work on, and obviously I want to make gains that are different from what they were last year. So without further ado, let's jump right in. I'm so glad you're here today, and thank you for listening to another episode. As we discuss today's subject, this is, my goals as of 2021 have kind of just changed. It's kind of just been altered, and honestly, it just stems from me, obviously. Obviously I got my self-confidence issues, and just like anybody else that gets into PE or penis enhancement, obviously you want to better yourself. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, wanting to improve yourself and obviously gaining confidence. And I know it's an ego boost, but ultimately it just comes down to bettering yourself. And I'm like any other human being out there. I just want to improve myself. And because of this, I said to myself this year, I'm like, hey, I haven't broken that 9-inch erect length. Bone pressed erect length, right? And I'm pretty close. I mean, I waver between 8.7 and 8.9, and I guess on a good day, one could even say that I get to the 9. But honestly, I want to be a solid, at least 9.5 bone pressed erect length. Like that was kind of my goal for this year, and obviously increase it from there. And, as you guys know, I've been focusing a lot of girth exercises for the past about 2-3 years, let's say. And that's when I actually started pumping. And, I've made pretty decent gains. I made considerable gains there. And I'm happy, but I'm not satisfied. And that's kind of the thing about PE. And same thing as the gym, you'll start working out and you'll realize like, hey, you know what? I don't think I'll ever be satisfied because there's always a new goal. There's always a new level. There's always something that you can improve upon. Right. And PE is no different. PE is absolutely no different. And there's a lot of different techniques and a lot of different ways that you can go about achieving different goals that you may have. Right. And, in the gym, you may be training for strength, and then you're like, hey, you know what? I want to get more hypertrophy. And then you're like, you know what? I want to improve my cardiovascular strength. And then you decide to join CrossFit, just because it looks cool. And then you end up getting injured. So you start learning about rehab and physio. Not a knock on CrossFit. I got buddies that do it. And, I make fun of them all the time. But we're all different. And everybody's got their different training techniques, different goals. And if they want to go hard in that way, why not? Ultimately, it's all about improving the physique in that regard. And so, like, let's say you want to get swole versus I want to get ripped versus I want to just get bulky. The same thing, I guess, in PE. Well, it's a little bit different in the fact that, it's like, hey, I want to increase length, or hey, I want to increase girth. Hey, I want to increase overall, both penile girth and length at the same time, simultaneously. I want to employ these techniques, or hey, I want to improve erectile quality. How do I go about doing that, right? So it's similar in that regard, but obviously, it's very different the way that we train. And for myself, like I said, I kind of saw myself and I'm like, hey, I haven't improved in the length department. And it kind of bugs me because I'm like, hey, I want to be better than this. I want to really break that milestone, and I want to get there, So what did I do? I switched it up. My previous routine, obviously it was kind of, like I said before with COVID and while I had to employ a lot of passive methods, but, it was more than anything just pumping, clamping, jelking, and I would just do different variations of it. I mean, pumping was the main focus of my workouts, right? So I would do a lot of pumping, usually around anywhere from 5 to 10 mmHg. Sometimes I would go higher, do like a pulse pump where I would just pump up to like something higher, and I would stay there for about anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute. And then I'd bring it back down to about 7. Usually I would average, if I had to say that my exercise routine had a specific layout, I would say that it would consist of a warm-up, manual stretches, then about 5 to 10 minutes of jelking, wet jelking, And then I would do sets inside of the tube. And I would say it'd be about anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes at about 7 mmHg. And then, I would do a warm down after that and some more jelqing. And I'd do probably edge for about 5 minutes afterwards. And like I said, it was pretty effective, and it helped me, make gains in that regard in the girth department. But now, since I'm switching it up to length, and I had a design, I've been designing my program, kind of, testing certain things around, and I decided to do some hanging, right? I am going to have to buy a new hanging rig, and that being said, though, I honestly believe that for length, nothing trumps hanging. Nothing will trump hanging ever, and I think if you do it in a safe way, it can be dangerous. In the same way that working out at the gym can be dangerous. You pick up 400 pounds, you're going to snap your back. If you go in lightly and pick up 10 pounds, put your ego to the side, you'll be okay. In the same way with hanging, if you start off with anywhere from 2 to 4 pounds or 5 pounds even, it depends on you. It's going to be completely different. I start off at 5 pounds and I feel extremely comfortable, but that's because I've already built a base, When I rev it up to 8 pounds, I'm like, ooh, this feels a little bit heavier, and that fatigue starts to set in, rather quick. So I kind of just stick to 5 pounds for as long as possible. Anyways, but we'll jump into that. So right now I'm just using my VLC tugger, and I kind of switch it up and set it up as a hanging rig. What I really want to do is either go to Total Man Shop, get myself a rig from there. Bib hanger also has some that I was looking at as well. And there's the VLC hanger, but that one's like $500. So I think I might just go with TotalManShop.com. And like I said before, I'll link out the Total Man Shop from the podcast. And if you want to support the podcast, I'd appreciate it as well. And I thank you guys for the guys that have bought off there, because it does help the podcast out. But that being said, I roll with Total Man Shop for a lot of my devices because, they didn't exist 10 years ago, man. A place that is tailor-made for people that do PE, and the prices are reasonable, right? But the LG hanger is a very, very nice looking device, but like I said, that thing's like 500 bones, right? So it's pricey, right? So everything is it's up to you. It's up to you which one you want to go with. These are the ones that I was just looking at as far as hangers go. So I'm going to make a decision from there when I graduate up to like 10 pounds, because, I can't be hanging off this thing. This thing's not really designed for more than probably, I'd say 8 pounds, and that's what I'm hanging off of it right now. But like I said, I'm going to have to step it up and go with the device that's properly suited for the amount of weight that I want to put on. There's also ZenHanger.com, which, it's got some interesting devices there. It's got one that's got like a combination of a vacuum pump and a hanger. So I don't know, that's funky. Oh man, my wife was looking at the device that I have. She's like, man, you got like a mini gym here that you spent over $1,000 on. I'm like, hey, don't judge me. Right, it is what it is. It is what it is. But yeah, so what I'm doing right now is usually I'll start the day off, just like any other day. And what I'll do is I'll jump in the shower, I'll do some manual stretches there, just manual stretches. And then what I will do is put on my extender, right? And I haven't really been wearing my extender throughout like the past about 2-3 years, just because, like I said, I wasn't focusing on length. So what I was using was a cock ring or a stayer device that I would, make myself, because obviously I was looking for more girth. I wanted more, penile girth, more expansion is what I was looking for. So now that I've switched it up and I'm going for length, my goal is to have it in an elongated state for as long as possible. And the hanging, I know it's creating the micro tears that, I'm looking for. And I want it to heal in an elongated state, right? So in doing so, I use the extender from the previous workout or whenever I had the workout before. So anyways, back to the routine. Let me just stay on task with that before I start to deviate again. So what happens is I will start the day off, take a shower, manual stretches, be nice and stretched out. Then I will use my device throughout the course of the day, and I will try to use it from anywhere from 6 to 10 hours. That's my goal. The studies that I've seen that have actually proven that it works, that any device works, and even on Fallis and Forte's website, they talk about how, the recommended usage of the device is a minimum of 6 hours. And I believe that to be true. I mean, if you see anybody that's, done anything as far as extending any part of the body, whether it's the neck, lips, ears, whatever, I mean, people wear these things for 24 hours, if not longer. So, I mean, if you really want your device to work on your penis, you're going to have to make sure you wear it for, an extended period of time, a long period of time, right? So I would highly recommend that you get something that's comfortable and something that you could wear for, anywhere from 6 to 12 hours a day, right? I mean, honestly, for me, the Fallis and Forte is by far the most comfortable device that I've ever seen on the market. Pricey too. I believe it's about $349, but I mean, you can actually sleep with this device, and they have before the model was just the strap that you kind of wear like a belt around your waist. And out of all the extended devices that I've seen, I think it's the only one that's actually discreet enough to wear in public, without worrying about it being visible as far as like the other extenders. All the ADS stretchers that you strap to your legs are good too, but Fallis and Forte, most bang for your buck, and I think by far, like, it's the most, the design is freaking beautiful. It is the most comfortable, but the number one thing that I think about it, which is how you can rack up a lot of hours very easily, is the fact that you can wear this bad boy to sleep. I mean, if you can wear it to sleep, that's a game changer. You don't have to worry about, wearing it throughout the day, and you put in 8 hours easy, 6 hours, however long you sleep. I mean, if you sleep 5 hours, well, get more sleep. It's going to affect your testosterone levels, so make sure you get enough sleep. All right, but that being said, yeah, Fallis and Forte definitely probably, it reigns supreme as the best extender on the market for a reason. I think it's an incredible device. But yeah, so slap on your extender. If you have one, if you don't, I highly recommend you get one. Extenders are cash money, and, they've been proven to work over and over and over again. I got a full-on article on my top 5, and they range in prices. There's the Platinum Edition by Jez Extender, which is $1,000. I don't recommend starting with that one. But there's also the Male Extra, which is an excellent device that's actually made by the same guys that make Jez Extender, I believe. And it only costs $150 for the intro model, and it's a great extender device, right? So you can wear that as well. Or you can go to Total Man Shop, rock the all-day stretcher as well. There's a whole bunch of different options, guys. Whether you want to get a sleeve just to, avoid turtling, whichever way you decide to go. Anyways, back to the topic at hand. All right, so start the day off. Take a shower. Get warmed up. Stretch it out. Stretch it out. Try to get as many stretches as possible. And then what I'll do is, I'll try to just get my extender on, put in the 6 to 12 hours throughout the day, make sure I get that workout in. And then as soon as I get home, I just kind of rest, relax. And this is where my workout will begin, right? And hanging, the biggest trade-off, guys, that you guys have to recognize is that, you got to trade your time. You got to trade your time for the gains. Time under tension. But paired with the extended device, I think anybody can gain rather quickly. So, I've been starting to do this for 2-3 days, and I'll get into the positive side of things in a bit. But so this is where the magic will begin, right? You start your exercise. Same deal. You want to warm up. Whether you want to start off with your hydro pump, or you just go to the shower. I would recommend the best thing that you could possibly use is the Total Man Shop heating pad, the infrared heating pad. The reason why I say that is that you can use that while you're hanging as well. And when you use it while you're hanging, you'll see even more expansion. And honestly, you'll avoid injury, and it feels delicious. Feels awesome, right? Because sometimes you will get numbness, and you may even feel like a little bit, there's less blood flow when you're doing your hanging, right? So it'll really help to just keep that blood flowing in there and keep it nice and warm, right? So definitely recommend that. But if you want to go with the rice sock, or you want hot water, whatever the case may be, just make sure that you get warmed up prior to these exercises. And more so with hanging, you want to make sure that, your legs, your tendons, you're all good to go. You got to make sure that, your tunica is all warmed up. You got to make sure you're warmed up to avoid injury, and obviously get the most expansion out of it, right? So definitely recommend you warm up for at least 5 to 10 minutes, if not more. You could always warm up for more. All right, so now you're warmed up about 5 to 10 minutes, or at least I'm warmed up because this is my routine right now. So what I would recommend now is you do your manual stretches. Do your manual stretches, and say about, usually I go for about 5 to 10 minutes. It's not too long since I'm already, nice and warm. So, usually I'll do my manual stretches, same deal as what I recommend in the free stretch. Or if you've read the book or if you bought the book, it's the same routine that I pretty much follow there, right? Northeast, west, south. And I just kind of let it stretch. Just let it stretch. Hold the stretches. No, never rush with the stretches. You take your time. And you can even heat in between. And then from there, this is where the magic begins. This is where I put my device on. And I will do my first set at about 5 pounds. And I'll usually do about 5 to 15 minutes right out the gate. Anywhere from 5 to 15. See kind of how I'm feeling that day. Kind of gauge it from there. So you do the first set, boom, 5 minutes. I'll take off the device and I'll try to get more blood flow in. I will use something to, heat my penis up to make sure it's still nice and warm, and it's more malleable that way, guys. You will find that it'll be easier for it to hang lower. You'll get a better stretch, a more comfortable stretch as well. So I highly, highly recommend that. Do that in between your sets. You can do some dry jelqing as well. I'll do a little bit of that. You just want to make sure that your penis doesn't feel cold when you're done warming up in between sets. You want to warm it up, right? Because it will feel a little bit cold when you come out of the hanger. Then what I'll do, and just kind of alternate from there, man. I'll just alternate from there, and I'll do another set, anywhere from about 10 to 15 minutes on the second sets, and then I may go up to 20 minutes. I don't really recommend going to 20 minutes if you've never done this before. I'd recommend, you stick from 5 to 15 minutes. On the high end, I'd probably recommend 5 to 10 minutes if you're just a beginner. But if you do decide to go with the device, usually they have the instructions or the manufacturer's recommendations, on their package as well. So obviously just roll with that. I'll kind of do my own thing in that regard. And I'll just keep kind of just doing sets on and off. And I'll do that from anywhere from 1 hour to 2 hours, right? And I'm not going more than that just now. Until I can really work up a higher tolerance. I want to avoid injury at all costs. So, I feel very, very comfortable. I feel very, very good. Post-workout, what I'll do is I'll do some wet jelks. If I have the time, I'll do it for 30 minutes. Just nothing but jelking, just chilling and jelking. My wife walks in, she's like, oh gosh, what is he up to? But she's not complaining because she's seen some gains. So, it is what it is. But I'll just jelk for anywhere from, like I said, it kind of just depends on the time that I have. So if it's 10 minutes, hey man, I got that blood flow in. I'll do a 10-minute jelk and a 10-minute edge session. If I can edge for 30 minutes, I'll edge for 30 minutes, and then I'll edge for 10 minutes, and that is that. And the next day, because usually I do it before I go to sleep, the reason why I've said that this is very positive and why I've seen, and why I've felt like, hey man, this is really working is that one thing you got to pay attention to when you're doing any PE program is your physiological indicators that this is a good thing. And the one physiological indicator that I have that is undeniable is that I have been waking up with the hardest boners, like the hardest. Even my wife's like, dude, what are you taking, Viagra before you go to sleep? Right? And, she's noticed it. I've noticed it, and it's true. It's like, and I feel that's really when the magic is happening, because at nighttime, you get nocturnal erections because that's the way your body kind of conducts its maintenance. It's like, okay, let's make sure everything's firing up the way it should. And at night, you should be getting anywhere from 4 to 6 erections, nocturnal erections. And usually if you're getting in good health, you should be waking up with an erection. But the thing is, I've been waking up with these raging hard-ons, like next level, where she's like, give me some of that. Right? So, I know that it's working in a positive way, and I know that my body's recovering from it in a positive way. And one morning when I know I'd kind of taxed myself, I kind of went above and beyond, and I worked up for about 2.5 hours. I woke up with an erection, but it was nowhere near as strong, right? Which is why that kind of led me to believe that, you know what, I should probably back off today. You got to gauge it accordingly and just kind of know, if I went super hard the day before, it's the same as doing leg day at the gym. Let's say you go ham one day, you just do an absurd workout for 2 hours. You're not going to go in and train legs again the next day. That would be stupid. And the thing is, when it comes to PE, we're doing the same, or you're training a singular part of the body every day, so you got to do it a little bit differently, right? Obviously, the penis's job is expansion, and obviously getting an erection, sustaining an erection, it's a little bit different, obviously, than, muscle at work. But that being said, the smooth muscle in the penis, and, every part of the penis needs kind of time to recover. You can't be breaking down, you can't be breaking it down every single day and expecting it to just bounce back. So it's very important that you recover. And I will be talking about, different supplements and stuff that I take, on another day. And how you got to help it recover, and that's why I think, honestly, gelking, getting good blood flow in there, nutrient-rich blood, nutrient-dense blood in there will help to, give you the best recovery possible. As far as my training goes, I'd say I train for anywhere from 4 to 5 days a week. Not every day is 2 hours. Some days it'll only be like about an hour, and I'll focus more on the jelks. Make sure that, I wake up solid the next day, and that's kind of the way that I've been gauging it. And so far, so good. I have not measured myself. I'm not going to do that till probably about 3-4 months in. And until, I get a device that can actually, handle a heavier workload, heavier weights. Until then, I'm just going to kind of take it easy and go from there. But that being said, it's been working out well, and my goals are different this year. Obviously, I want to make more length gains. But yeah, that's pretty much it for my new routine. If you guys do have any questions, concerns, or comments, or you want to talk to me about your routines, be sure to hit me up. You guys know where to find me. masculinehealthsolutions.com is up and rolling. I do want to improve a whole lot of things on the website, though. I realize that we've been working on making it more mobile friendly. And we've also been working on improving the site speed, because, God, I was like, dude, this thing is way too slow. So I'll be working on that as well, working on different parts of it. But we have different articles. There's different articles that I put up there and that I've written. And if you got any more questions, obviously hit me up and let me know. All right. Well, thank you for stopping by and listening to this episode. I'm going to have more good stuff coming your way. And be sure to cop the book. The book is out now. Full year-long routine. If you're a beginner to penis enhancement, penis enlargement, definitely get that book. The book will definitely help you out. I wish I had that book when I was starting off on this journey as a wee boy. Definitely, a lot of good stuff that you guys can learn from it. So, yeah, without any further ado, that is all. That is all. It's just time to say goodbye. Until next time. Thanks again for stopping by and listening to today's episode of the Masculine Health Solutions podcast. If you guys got any questions, concerns, or comments, be sure to check out masculinehealthsolutions.com for more good information, more articles, and there's a glossary that I'm working on, trying to get as many terms as possible on it for you guys. And I will be working on more good things coming your way. All right. Thank you again, and until next time.